sir, we've come to Preed. Can I take your order, please?
Hello everybody and welcome to Gibbons Talks Boxing. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. I'm delighted to be joined today by Jamie AMBLER. Welcome to the channel, Jamie. Good to see you, mate. How are you today?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure. Like, I've seen you on the circuit a few times, and you've always welcomed me in. Like,
I'm guessing some people may have clicked on this interview as maybe popped up on the YouTube recommendations. And people might recognize the name Jamie AMBLER, but not be quite sure who exactly he is. So that's part of the reason why I've done this interview. So I'll just give you a quick bit of background information about Jamie. Jamie had 86 pro fights. He boxed a lot of the top guys in British boxing, guys like Tony Bellew, Robin Reed, Paul Smith, Liam Williams, of course, who's fighting for a world title this weekend. And Jamie, he played the crucial role as the journeyman boxer, which is taking fights on relatively short notice, going all over the country, boxing the best up-and-coming guys. And like I said, he's had 86 fights, boxed 385 rounds in a career that spanned from 2005 to 2017. So before we get on to your pro career, Jamie, can you just tell us how you first become involved in boxing? What's your background?
it was more just just like playing for the town football team, Penparky, and just generally just a bit of fitness just to keep like active towards the football. Obviously, started picking it up and started enjoying it, sparring. There's a three of us that started at the same time, and we all like mucked in, joined together. And what it is, obviously the two of them started. They were a bit better than me at the start, but then I found my feet quite quick, and I started slowly overtaking them, and I just found my niche in it and started enjoying it. And then before I knew it, I was carded up and going out for my amateur fight. Yeah.
So what amateur gym were you in? I should have mentioned at the start for people who don't know. Jamie's from Aberystwyth in West Wales.
Yeah, Aberystwyth gym. My trainers are Nick Hodges and Gareth Dowse. Obviously, you might know Nick more from the pros. Took me everywhere. I'm very thankful for that. All around in the car. Obviously, clocked a lot of mileage on his car. It's a pleasure. Like, and obviously, you meet a lot of people on the circuit who are welcoming, who would put you overnight in your house or anything. It's quite they say it's a lonely sport, but on the circuit they do look after you, you know, as in the boxers, like, and the promoters and the trainers, you know. Yeah.
So what's your main recollections from your amateur career, Jamie, from your time in the amateur ranks?
Well, with my amateur, I boxed Francisco Borg. That was one of my big names I boxed. Bit of funny story, really. I came in overweight as usual, and he was backstage, and what it was, he wasn't due to fight on the bill, and it was sort of like, teach him a lesson. I was only a novice. Put him in with he was like two times world champion or something at the time, and I didn't even know. He didn't even weigh in. He tried to go in, and I held my ground against him, and they started yelling at me in the corner, "Go on, get him! He's like outworking you." They panicking a bit, and I was like, I came in. He gave me a hell of. I remember giving him a hell of a shiner and stuff, but I held my ground then, and people started talking a bit like I had a bit of durability and I'd have a go, you know. People were surprised, you know, that against a name like that. I didn't even see him in the way, and he's just this big like guy came across the stage, and I also because like I come in weight. He goes, because obviously I didn't know the name Francisco Borg. I was in with a 2-time world champion or something, and I myself boxing quite well. Yeah.
So did you enter the championships when you were an amateur boxer, the World Championships?
Yeah, I answered. I'm not. Yeah, I did enter them. I boxed. I lost. I think I'm not sure if it was in like the quarters or up in something like that. I don't know if you remember him. Something. I'm trying to think of his name now. Just gone.
So what weight did you box at, Jamie?
It was middle. It was middle. He ended up winning it in the end. The boy who I boxed. I can't think on top of my name now, but that was the only one I really went into, because I wasn't really it's like I find if you're not up there in the Welsh, like in the bubble whatsoever, I fought a few good kids and stuff, got quite a few best boxers of the night and stuff. But I turned over quite quick with the pros then. I thought.
So how many amateur fights did you have? Can you remember?
I had about 30 something, 30, low 30s, 35, I think, yeah.
And did you box senior in the amateurs as well? Or just
Yeah,
a schoolboy?
I started off more or less. The first bout was about 16, so they were.
Oh, okay.
So they mostly were senior. Yeah, so I wasn't like, I started like about when I was for like 14, 15, but I didn't have an actual senior fight till I was about 16. And then, yeah, they just started, they got putting them together, and before you know it, you've had over 10, Yeah, they do gather up quite quickly and stuff, yeah.
And what was the decision making for you to turn pro then? Were you always planning to turn pro, or was it just tell us what happened?
It was more or less like I wasn't sure what I was doing in career wise and stuff, and obviously you can make a bit of money, and obviously my aim was always go to win, and when I was turning over, but obviously with like the financial backing from Aberystwyth, and it's a small area, they don't have any show venues here. I'd always be on the road, so I thought I'd just give it a shot and just to see if what my luck was like, and I won my first one, and then I started thinking I was the bee's knees, and then before I knew it, I was at my phone I was living the high life a bit too well, and then the phone was going, and I was on the circuit fighting again. Then I was thinking I haven't trained enough after celebrating a bit too much. Yeah, and then I had a tough fight then. And then they just started just accumulating from there really, and before you know it, then I found like you have a couple of losses, you take it, and then you get a couple of pinches of salt, like where you think like you got something from it. You get a bit numb to it then, and you don't really, the losing doesn't really affect you as much as like the first time. You sort of like get a bit numb to it, and you just get on the circuit and you keep fighting. Yeah.
So when you actually turned pro, what was the aim? What was the ambition?
I wanted to win a Welsh title or a British Masters. That was my goal, because I knew like a couple of boys who boxed for it and stuff, and I knew I could do 10 rounds. Like I felt I was better. But when I started getting into the fight after 4, I was quite a slow starter. So the sprint fights, for the boys who come out of the blocks, I started getting my shots off like after round 5. So I thought I'd be okay at doing the 10 rounds. And then I had a chance to box for the British Masters against Sam Norton, I think it was. And I thought I won it, to tell the truth. It was in his backyard, put him down in the 7th, and I didn't get a decision. I was a bit gutted, because when you train hard for something and you want to win it, it knocked me back a bit, and I was a bit gutted, because I felt I should have come away with the bout, because a lot of people coming up to me after and saying you did enough to win that, had your head by a couple of rounds. So yeah, that was one thing. And then I was in a bubble when a fighting. There was talk of fighting Jeff, was it? I think for the Welsh.
Jeff Evans.
Yeah, I think so, or Liam again. It was maybe for the Welsh title, but I broke my leg playing rugby, mucking around, in 7s. Had a right bollocking, but so that faded away then, really.
So were you an all-round sportsman, Jamie? You mentioned football, you mentioned rugby, obviously the boxing.
I was never like a worldie at them, but I dabbled in a lot of the sports, and I suppose I played okay. Yeah, I was a good worker through like good fitness and stuff. Used to work hard, and just obviously then boxing overtook all that then, and then that was my main sport really.
So you, after a victory on your pro debut, you went into the journeyman role, which you explained to us there, taking fights at short notice, going all over Britain, fighting up and coming guys. Just explain to people who perhaps don't understand what the role is of a journeyman boxer, the role that you fulfilled for 10 years or so on the British boxing scene.
It's just like a stepping stone, really. You've got a home fighter who sell tickets. That's the main thing, really. If you sell tickets, really, you can get really home status, even if you're not from that area. they'll put you on. But it's a stepping stone, really. It builds you, and it basically gives you a test to see. Well, for me, if you're getting handpicked so many, well, they say handpicked, like 6 or 7 fighters, and if you lose one of them, or sometimes you can get unlucky, obviously in boxing, and it's like a milestone, a stepping stone, just to see what level you are, British level, European, or as for Liam, world.
Yeah.
So I find we take a big role, as in the circuit. Obviously, when I took the notice for Liam, when I fought him, he had three knockouts, and we were contemplating it, saying, is this the right fight to take? No, it's a hard fight. And so we took that one on, and I felt, obviously, after his 3 stoppages last fight, he couldn't stop me after 6, and I felt he learned something off that fight, so and then he went on then again. So yeah, I feel like we do play a big part in the sport of a learning curve.
Because from where you're from, as you touched on earlier, from Aberystwyth, I don't think Aberystwyth's got a famous boxing history.
No.
And then to get on shows, you basically got to sell tickets. And for your fans to travel from Aberystwyth to even somewhere like Newport or Cardiff, that's a hell of a long distance, and it's difficult for you to sell tickets. It
is that appealing factor as well, as in when you start saying to someone, oh, do you want to buy a £40 ticket? People are like, oh, and that's if they're from the town. And then you start adding, oh, there's £30 bus, and then there's this, and then you got to get your food, and they're like, oh, it's going to be up to like £100. It's like, it's hard to get that sort of traveling base to get. Obviously, instead of having that like venue and people just getting out their front door or going down the road, and it's going to cost them £40 and a tenner for a few pints or something,
Yeah.
Seems more appealing. It's hard to get that base fan on to travel as well. I know there's some would travel, like in a area title fight and stuff, but I found, especially like with the hospital, even if I think I'm not 100% sure, the golden hour rule, we didn't qualify. Even if we wanted to hold a show, I don't think we could.
Yeah, I think it needs to be like a neurological unit within an hour for boxing shows.
So you're sort of in a dead zone, really. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So in a way, you were almost forced to, unless you had a big sponsor.
Yeah.
You were almost forced to take the role of the journeyman.
Yeah, in that way, yeah. Unless I wanted to. Like a couple of the boys, Phil Dowse, who boxed, he took a couple of, like, you could pay for your fight, maybe fight for free, just to get that record, and maybe someone will put you on the bill up that way and stuff like that, and take it that way, and maybe try and get in. I think Phil fought a couple of fights in Bristol and stuff, even as a home fighter, just does favours, and stuff like that, and selling tickets and stuff. But he's sort of from this area. It is hard, Yeah.
And I think boxers from Wales or pro boxers from Wales say they get a little bit ignored from the rest of Britain, because unless you're from like Manchester or London or Liverpool, the big boxing areas, it's more difficult in Wales. And I think even boxers within Wales say if you're from west of even Cardiff, really, it's even more difficult again.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
For like guys like Dale Evans, talented boxer, Chris Jenkins.
Yeah, Dale, he was boxing a few bills. Very good. I thought he was very lucky when he boxed. What was his name?
Hibbard, was it?
Yeah. And he boxed. What's his name?
Who knows? Sorry, Dale, is it?
Yeah, Dale. Yeah, he boxed. John Pegg's boy. It was. Can't remember his name now.
My mind's gone blank.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. So what's the
lucky?
What's the shortest notice you've ever taken a fight on, Jamie?
I've had phone call when I've been in bed, like sort of like, I'm like, the phone's gone. And he goes, "How you feeling?" He goes, "Are you feeling sharp?" And he goes, "We've got one." And like, I've travelled from Glasgow a few times. We drive down and stuff, and like, it was that sort of, you get in that sort of frame of mind. The phone could go at any time, and but like sometimes when you've obviously, like when you're not thinking it, and then you get the phone and you're like it goes off in the morning, and then my friend next door, like when I used to live with a couple of friends, like students and stuff, in a shared house, they're like, "Oh, you fighting? Are you? Yeah. I put my boots in my bag, you know, shuffling on, folding my kit up, and I'm going off, you know. So yeah.
What would your student friends think of you just randomly on a drop of a hat going off to have a fight?
They couldn't believe it really, because like in I lived a bit of the student life as well, so even though I wasn't in uni, so it was like they just couldn't believe it. I'm just going out to fight someone who doesn't maybe know who he's fighting on that show, but someone's going out there to hurt me and fighting it, and then I've been on the sesh for like a couple of days or so. Yeah, and then I come back and then they say, "Oh, you go, I lost on points." They just denied odds, you know, of how I just go by. I'm so like laid back and stuff. Like, I think it plays in my favor for like just being so relaxed in the ring and stuff. So yeah.
So, as a journeyman boxer, I mean, they say, there's a bit of a myth, or I don't know if it's a myth, that the journeyman boxer don't actually want to win, because if you win or win 20 fights, the phone call stops ringing. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, I can understand in some respect, like, but for me, I was picking up odd wins and stuff and draws. Obviously, if you win from home, is a good result in it, like on some shows. And otherwise, I find, like, if you're not, for me, I was trying, and when obviously sometimes the notice is short and you have to go, and you feel like your survival instincts go in, and you think, I'm gonna have to tuck up here. I'm not firing as well as I could. I don't want to get tagged and get 28 days just for trying to trade. I'm gonna box smart here, and then like you just get through the fight, sort of thing. But yeah, I went to win. If I had a chance or an inkling, and I was getting shots in there, we would go for the win. Like, and obviously it keeps the boxing ball off your back as well. You know, so yeah. So after every 4 fights, before they pull you in, they go for the win. Yeah, so keep them off your back. Yeah. So yeah. So
what would be your routine then, Jamie? When let's just say the phone call rings this morning, or when I say a Saturday morning or Friday morning, say, "Yeah, Jamie, we got a fight," and whatever it is. What would your routine be to get ready for that fight?
Sort of like, yeah, on the phone. Yeah, what? Yeah. Sort of like, how many rounds? Yeah, where is it? And like that, sort of like, yeah, we'll do it then. Let's go. Get in the car. You'll come down from like, well, he's about 15 miles out of town, and come down. We get in the car and we just plod along over to the show, you know. And then yeah, some shows like called, and then obviously like it's so short notice, the wait isn't an issue. So, and then some shows I'm starving, we're going all the way down, so where's the venue, the traffic and everything. So I'm munching all the way down, you know. So you get them benefits as a journeyman as well. So of course, obviously you get in short notice calls. Sometimes if someone's willing to give £8 away, you don't really mind or something, do you?
And I think I'm right in saying there's almost a bit of a camaraderie between different journeyman boxers, because you'll bump into each other all over the country. The same guys doing the same journeyman type circuit.
Well, you could go into a venue, and I know the first 7 fights, all the boys, like, they're all on their bed, they're all not doing. I could predict the outcome before even the show goes on. So you're like, you're sort of like, oh yeah, and then it's good banter, you know. Like you're lower music, having a laugh, and then it's like a pin. You go into the home training, it was like, oh, pin wouldn't drop, you know. Everyone's serious. You're moving like, so it's like 2 different atmospheres, you know. Everyone having a laugh, showing the videos from the bloody stag do the week before and stuff. Yeah, so yeah, it is 2 different strange sides, you know. And then especially when you got people like you know, who've had the 300, like obviously like what's his name? You got Buckland.
Peter Buckley, is it?
Yeah, Peter Buckley and that and stuff like that. I've seen him on a few venues, and it's just a crazy. I see it more as an art, as in how they just go in and like just moving. The defenses don't get hurt. Phones going. Football, they even know the match the week after. So just not getting hurt and just don't want to get hit. So I think it's more of an art than anything, just to go out about that, because it's not an easy sport. It's a tough sport, boxing. So I take my hat off to them boys, you know.
And I think, I mean, it's a credit to you that, you know, as I mentioned at the top of the interview, I mean, the guys you've been in the ring with, guys like Tony Bellew, Cruiserweight World Champion,
And
uh,
stuff, yeah.
Robin Reed, Super Middleweight World Champion, Paul Smith has fought, you know, for a world title 4 times, Liam Williams,
Yeah.
fighting for a world title this weekend. What was it like fighting Tony Bellew? I think it was Tony's debut, am I right in saying?
Yeah. It was. Well, that's another funny story, really. I shouldn't really say it, but is that I'm finished. I broke my leg. That was the time when I broke it, and I was in a bit of financial trouble. And I was not really training. I wasn't training at all. I was just back, sort of running and stuff. So I went down to the venue, and I needed a bit of money because I was in a bit of debt from all like being injured. I had quite a bit of money saved away from my other pro fights and that, but I was living on that, so I was eating away on it. So they could this fight come through. So
how much notice do you have for this fight?
It was a bit short notice. I think it was a couple of days. It wasn't much in it. I was like, "How do you feel? How does your leg feel?" So I was like, "Oh, it's okay. We've got a bit of a limp though." So I was going around a limp to the ring. I went there and fine and stuff, and I give it a go. But it was that mind of like, I didn't want to get tagged and twisted, and and I had a pin in my leg, so it was a bit of like, it was a bit of a crazy one to go in there with, like, for he knows is like he doesn't even know my story, but like I'm going there to fight, like, but yeah, it's just yeah. And then I think a couple of weeks after then, held my ground with Martin Murray then.
Oh, you fought Martin as well? Okay, I didn't realize that.
I fought him both within. It was Tony, and then a couple of weeks also, and then Martin after. And I remember Nick screaming at me because you've got this far. It was around 5, and as a 6th rounder, because obviously I got good money, fighting back to back Tony Bellew and Martin Murray. Like, it was more money than I would get working, or like, a month. It was a good wage. And I remember Nick saying, "You've got to round 5 now. Just dig in, hold in." Holding on. And just get that round. And you've done it. You've got the distance. It's how we're breathing out. You've got a bit of money, extra money in the pocket now, and you can sit back a bit, and we could pick maybe a 1 or 2 bouter now, and easy ride. Yeah.
So would you look at a guy's record before you fight him and think, "Oh, this might be a tough night tonight," or would you think, "Oh, this guy's got a bit of a padded record, I should be..."
The big names like that, but no, I wasn't one of them who did their homework. It was sort of on the night. if he hitting me hard and this, bloody hell, he's a banger or something. He was one of them. Yeah, it was weird. That one show I went to one time, I can't remember the kid that boxed. He had like English title and something else, and he came out with his boys holding the belt. I looked at Nick and go, "Bloody hell, he's a bloody English champion." I was looking at him, I was thinking, Nick just goes, "Bite in your gum shield. You can have a hard one tonight." it's like just that sort of like, just go with it. Yeah, we're gonna have a tough one tonight. Yeah. So yeah, it's crazy. Like, but obviously, Nick knew his boys. Like, he knew like the circuit and stuff, and like he knew what fights, and like some fights where he was thinking like the Liam Williams one. Obviously, when there's 3 stoppages, it was more that I pushing for the fight, and there was nothing about at that time as well. So we had to go with it, and the money was good, and it's all, well, obviously the business, isn't it? You're looking after yourself as well, but that's how the money is how the world go around, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah.
So we were working on any other job at this time?
Oh, I was just boxing, so it was my main income really. So I had rent to pay and stuff and bills. So but obviously then I'm working with the university, and everything started panning out okay. Then it wasn't so, but jumping in, I could say, I don't need that fight as much, and I had a nice income coming in from the uni, like a monthly income. Well, it wasn't just like sometimes you can get a fight for like. Sometimes you don't get a fight, you sit cold, and then you got rent to pay and stuff, haven't you? So, yeah. So
who would you say is the toughest guy you fought? No, the fight that was the hardest fight on the night for you?
Oh, I fought a kid up in Scotland called Almachi or something, and he was a tough kid, and very underestimated. Give away a bit of weight, and he was a good kid. Obviously, like Liam Williams was a tough night as well. Um, yeah, and a few other big punchers like Paul Smith wasn't easy, and obviously Dodson. That was a tough one.
I think you boxed Robin Reed, and then you
Reed,
boxed.
I think
you boxed Dobson.
That was a tough one as well. Little Mexican Ray gloves. You're like, oh no, the puncher's gloves. You think, oh no, he's going to come for me.
So tell us. Sorry to interrupt you, but tell us the difference between the different types of gloves in boxing. Then you mentioned the Reyes gloves.
Yeah, I find, well, like in some venues, like you have the Rays, and sometimes the BB ones.
BBE.
And, yeah, I find just the leather in the Rays is just, especially like if you got someone who's a puncher, they tend to, if the promoter's got the chance to put them on them, they can do more damage. You know, they are hard leather, and yeah, they do hurt. Obviously, I had a fractured rib. Well, I think it was from Robin Reed, just from the Rays. It's such a hard leather, you know. I just feel not as much give. Feel like better with the pillows. Yeah.
So you prefer to box with the BBE gloves?
Yeah.
Given the choice.
Yeah. Especially if they're short, stocky, and they're coming at you for 10. you know these Sky Network boys. Sometimes they're worse than fighting someone who's been around. Like when I boxed Paul Smith, he was a bit more, wasn't as rushed. And then, but you get these Sky Network boys, the hell for leather. They're at you for like 4 rounds, still give me a break. You know? Yeah, too keen. Yeah.
So what are some of the tricks of the trade that you've learned over the years to get through tough fights, or to slow a fight down, or to just to do what you got to do to get through the rounds?
Yeah, there's obviously the tying up and obviously.
I still got you on, mate. I know you're still recording.
Oh yeah, okay, still going. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's fine, mate. Yeah.
Just the tying up, and well, because I find I'm quite tall and stuff, is just leaning that weight on him. You know, as in obviously it's not like a big thing, but obviously I'm quite a tall lad, and like when you're tying up and you're leaning that weight on them, it's giving you that little bit of breather, and obviously taking a bit out of their legs as well, so they're not coming at you. Lose a bit of their sting, and mainly just holding a tight defense. And what I found is that my body was very durable. So people used to look at me and like I was a bit rubbery, you know, like not really like cut and stuff. But I found that played to my advantage. Like I was like a human sponge around the body. Nothing could really bang around my body. So I was happy to take them around the ribs all the time. So yeah, it's just little. It's just slowing the fight down. You know, if you get caught by a good shot, tying them up. Obviously, you've got to be careful with refs if you keep doing it all the time. They get a telling off. But yeah,
I suppose when you're on the journeyman circuit as well, I suppose you just get to know the different referees as well. And do you know what referees you can get away with certain things with?
Yeah, I like boxing. Obviously, I love like some of the Welsh refs and stuff. They've given me good chance, and they've given me a few wins as well. So like. And you do get like a little inkling and like, oh, things reffing tonight. I might have a little go tonight. And he raised my hand the other day, and like a couple of weeks ago. So then you think sometimes like when you get some refs down from the same areas and stuff, you just think, oh, I just haven't got a chance really. So like,
I mean, what are some of the fights you thought you should have got the win, and perhaps if it was like on a home venue or a neutral venue, you'd have got the win?
God, it is. I found I can't remember that. He's very familiar, like Welsh ref. Names, I'm terrible with names.
Winford Jones, Martin Williams, Reese Carter.
Yeah, maybe Reese. Yeah, I think Reese. Yeah, he what it was is he refed my if it is Reese, he refed my professional. Well, no, one of no, it was his do you know when someone's marking you, but you're doing your like reffing, but you don't get the chance?
It's trial, is it? It's trial.
Yeah, trial. Yeah, and I boxed Dodson. That was, and he's a former British champion. I dropped him, and he had it as scored as a draw, and they overruled it on the thing, obviously, because it was his debut day. As I lost by 1 point, so it was like, yeah, it's like things like that, you know. I
Um,
find,
have you boxed any boxers or any guys, and you thought to yourself after the fight, oh, that guy's going to do really well in the sport, and then for whatever reason they haven't achieved what you thought they might?
um, not so much. I found more so in, I don't know if it's like what, like I found more so as in up and coming fighters what I fought, like I don't know, like as in like the records like in Wales, like everyone I've fought has done, like Zach Parker and stuff like that, like Liam Williams, like a lot of the names of the up and coming fighters. I found that like if you look at the CV I've got sort of thing, like if you looked at and added it all up, they've all like I've been in with like a lot of like European and British levels, a lot of world and everything. They've all seemed to have gone quite well. So I don't know if it's something to do with I find myself as a good stepping stone or I don't know, you know. It's
And you mentioned Liam Williams a few times there. I think you boxed him in the Ronda Leisure Centre, was it? Or
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
what was that like boxing Liam? Because he had a bit of a reputation at the time, but he was still probably only had a few fights.
Yeah, it was tough. I remember he popped my nose, and he's quite rough with his head and stuff. And I remember one like coming like after the round 4 or 5, he was coming on very strong, and he was catching me with some good shots. But I managed to get through it. And I remember one of the trainers coming up to me after saying, "Oh, you've earned your money tonight, boy. That was a tough one." And I was like, "Yeah." I felt like I'd been in a car crash after. So it was good like that, as in some respect. Like I was happy to go the distance, you know.
And do you take a bit of pride from guys like Liam Williams? Of course, he had to go and get the win, and he had to he had to fight you. But you, in a way, you helped him learn and you helped him develop him as a fighter. And of course, now Liam has gone on to fight for a world title. Do you take pride from that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, like on like a lot of fights I fought, like, and wasn't like when I see and they've done like yeah I do, like, as in I feel like I offered something to his learning curve, and I felt like in that fight day he's banging boys over. Like maybe you can't load up with every shot, you know. You got to work something else at different angles, you know. Not load up every 3 shots, you know. Surprise him, and like I feel like you offer something to the table, you know.
And when you boxed Liam, did you realize that he was something a bit different from your average fighter coming through?
Yeah, I knew I had a good. Yeah, I obviously the Nick knew him very well as well, and they knew he was going to be a good pedigree. Yeah, for definite. Yeah, he was coming. He just had them good skills, good angles of shots and stuff. Yeah, he just.
And I'm just looking on your record here now. I think you had a good win, am I right in saying, against Lee Churcher?
Yeah. That who ref that one? I can't remember.
Give me a second, now, mate. I'll try and find out for you now.
Yeah, because
I think that was in a Merthyr show, was it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it was because I remember boxing that one. And my friend,
Rhys Carter.
Yeah, Rhys Carter. So yeah. But he's giving me. Yeah, I like having a go when Rhys is there.
Yeah, he's a good referee, to be fair.
Yeah, I do like him. Yeah, he's always got time to set it out, and he gives me the benefit of, like, you know, the journeyman chance as well. So it's nice.
Is it a bit, even though it's a job for you and you're doing it for money at the end of the day, does it still get a bit disheartening when you feel that you should have got the nod from a referee, but due to the fact you're the away fighter, you get overlooked?
Yeah, it does early on, but you sort of get a numbness to it, and you just brush it off like it's like just something on your shoulder. You sort of like get like sort of build up a resistance to that it's gonna that's boxing, it's gonna happen. So you face fact, and so you just get that sort of numbness to it, if I can say it. That's the only way I can describe it, really.
And have there been times in your career when you've had any regret and you thought, no, perhaps I should have tried to go on the title trail or looking for titles, or are you happy with the way your
Yeah.
career played out?
I'm happy with what I've done. Like I'm proud of like the boys. Like I'm looked upon like in my town as like a little hero. Like everyone knows the names of boxing, and I get treated like with the heroes of respect, you know, as like a champion in some respect, like for like the boys I've been in with and stuff. But you always got that question, no matter above your head, is if I did do it right, because I thought I did have ability. It's just obviously waiting that time and picking the boys and maybe trying to get picked up by a promoter and selling tickets. Some of these boys get iced out waiting. So for me, it was all about just really getting on with it and making some money and picking up wins and trying, you know, and giving it the best I could really at the start. And if it doesn't come off, it doesn't come off. You can review that option again and obviously get on the road and, you know, just do as I was doing.
I think you had your final fight in 2017, if I'm right in saying. Did you officially retire? Did you announce your retirement, or did you stop answering the phone call?
Well, yeah, sort of. It was me playing around. Really, it was getting lazy. I was crawling up in the weight. You know, I was going up to cruiser, and then the boys are big. You know, at that weight. If you're not boiling your weight down, and you got a boy ringing you on the phone, well, it's been training. You might have a date for training for 6, 7, 8 weeks, and he's boiling down, and you get called, and you're sitting around podgy at 13.4. The weight looks fair on paper, but these boys have boiled down from 14 stone odd, and they're big boys. So it's like when my weight started going up, and I started getting like boxing boys who I think in that last fight he was 13.7. It was the shots starting to hurt, you know. So it was either start sorting myself out, or, you know, I had a little boy coming on the way as well. So it was, you know, I don't want to, obviously your health comes first. Yeah.
Ideally, if you had have decided to go on the title trail, I mean, what weight would you have boxed at, do you think? What weight would you be the strongest at if you hadn't gone on the journeyman route?
I think, like, obviously, like, I started, you can see on my professional day, I boxed at 11.4. Wow. I was quite tall, yeah, and I boxed Liam on the day at 11 stone 10. So obviously, as I was getting older a bit, but 11 stone 10, like middle, I think that was where I'd be strong, and that's where I would obviously take advantage of the day before weigh-in as well and gain. I could be a bit bigger as well, maybe, you know, instead of being the one who's losing a few pounds against the person who's boiling down and putting 10 pounds overnight. Like, for like the difference for me, if I weighed on the day before weigh-in and I had a short notice fight, I might put 3 pounds on, and that other person could put like 8 or 9 pounds. You wouldn't take that fight on the day then, if that was sort of the case. So yeah, so that would be my fight weight, I think, if I was going to do it different.
Have you got any particular one fight from your pro career or your amateur career that, you know, was your favorite fight, the fight you take the most pride from, or the most enjoyment, if that's the right word?
I like the fights up. I've had a few good wins up in Scotland, like and I had a good stoppage against Quinton Hillock, Quinton or something like that, and he was tipped to go somewhere, and had a good stoppage there. And he was like, I remember him coming in to the fight, like, obviously, like, I was a bit like tall and he was just chiseled, and everyone was just ruling me off, and I stopped him. And yeah, it was a good feeling and stuff. And yeah, it was a nice feeling when you get a good win. I had a few good wins up in Scotland. Some calling me Muck AMBLER. Yeah, I was enjoying it up there. Yeah, and I won a best boxer of the month. It was like one of the first ever non-Scottish boxers, and there was like, obviously I couldn't go up and get it because it is a long way to get up, but I remember him posting it to me. It was a big glass trophy. So yeah, it was nice. It was a nice feeling, you know. I feel like you put a stamp on down there, and yeah. So yeah, it was nice. Yeah.
How did the crowd react when you went and upset the local hero? I mean, obviously they were expecting you to win, and then you go upsetting things by winning. I mean, how did the crowd react to you?
Funny story, yeah, it is. There was this. I remember obviously you get the tables, don't you, dinner shows, and there was obviously everyone straight away when they looked at the matchup of the size of like he was chiseled, could jumped over the top around like Superman cape and everything, and you think, oh, this is a mismatch, it's not going to last, he's going to blow him out in a round. Then you've always got that one other guy on the table who bets against the other guy. And I was coming out of the venue, and he was slumped up. He was drunk against the wall. He goes, "I bet on you." He goes, "I won loads of money." And he got me 20 quid. He goes, so yeah, it's a nice feeling. Yeah.
And what's the most hostile environment you've boxed in over the years?
I'm trying to think. Probably come down the Welsh fights, innit? Down the Valley fights and stuff. Yeah. Then get fights breaking out in the crowd. Yeah, but no, I haven't seen much really of that. Obviously, I've seen when I've watched a couple of fights and been in the crowd, but like obviously you can hear the shouting, "Kill it, bang it," and like and all that. You know, you get all that. But yeah. Overall, yeah. Actually, when I boxed Liam in my first fight, Liam Suchko, what it is, I put him down, and as I got a bit carried away and carried on punching him when he was down a bit, and then the crowd got a bit hostile. Then I could hear them all on my back, and then I got escorted out. You know, they wanted my blood. You know, so yeah, they do look after their own, don't they?
And what do your friends and family? What do they used to think of you as a pro boxer, journeyman pro boxer going off all over the place fighting?
Yeah, obviously, like they think of my health and stuff, and obviously you're doing it to provide for my family and stuff. Yeah, they obviously when you get the call and you got to go, they sort of adjust to that lifestyle, and they sort of, just you've got to do it really, and yeah, that's it really. You just got to go with it, and they accept it, and yeah, it just seems to be that's how the lifestyle sort of just evolves around everything really.
Is there any fight you would have liked to have had that didn't take place? Any guys who were lined up to fight and it didn't happen for whatever reason that you'd have liked to have boxed? Just some guy who went on to achieve great things.
I wish I could have rearranged a Welsh title fight or something like that. But no, not really. As in, the names were coming in as I was boxing, really. So I was getting names. Like, I like some of the venues I boxed in. Like, it's like a pleasure to box on some of them venues and stuff. It's like staying in nice hotels the night before. And it feels good.
So what's the biggest night of boxing you've boxed on then, Jamie? What's the biggest card?
Got I like, obviously, you go to I'm a big passionate Welsh fan, with the Six Nations rugby and all that sort of stuff. So it's nice. I like to drop in I've boxed in the Millennium Stadium, and the undercard of Joe Kawasaki and stuff. I boxed Kerry Hope.
Of course, Kerry, yeah.
Yeah, and it's nice feeling just to drop that in when you're sitting in the ground and stuff, The O2 was a nice venue. I enjoyed boxing there. Yeah, and the Echo, Manchester arenas and stuff like that, NEC Arena. And
so you boxed in all the major venues all over Britain?
Yeah, all over. It's just a nice feeling, got your own changing room in the O2, you got your name on there and you got the O2, you just think obviously it's not as busy as when the main card comes on. It's like dot to dot people, but yeah, it's just that feeling, it's nice, these are big venues, Yeah, so it's great. Yeah, it's a great feeling.
So even though you're retired now, Jamie, do you still follow boxing closely? Do you watch it on TV? Are you a boxing fan?
Yeah, I obviously follow the kids I've boxed who are doing well. Obviously, like Liam, I like Zach Parker. I watch a few of Errol's boys who I've boxed, and I follow a few of them boys. Obviously, I watch Liam now this Saturday. Yeah. And
how do you think Liam's fight is going to go this Saturday against Demetrius Andre?
I think he's got I think he's got the goods to beat him. Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, I think I'm hoping he brings it back for the Welsh, innit? But yeah, I think he must have he's got a very good chance. Very good chance. Maybe I find if I was to put a bet on, I'd have him a bit favourite if I was going to put a few quid on him.
And what about Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua? Hopefully that fight gets made soon. How do you think that'll play out?
I think Fury will beat him just watching like the background, like Joshua. Like I just feel like Fury's got more like of a game plan. You know, like he can evolve. Like when obviously like Joshua was fighting Klitschko, like he was losing. You know, he just had that one game plan to knock him out. I think Tyson Fury's got a bit more of a second game plan. He's got a bit more boxing ability. I just think he might just edge it. I think, yeah.
And what about Billy Joe and Canelo? Another big fight, super middleweight.
I'd love to see Billy win it, but I just think Canelo, he's just a different kettle, isn't he? A bit of different kettle of fish. You know, he's just a different league. You know, I think he'll box well, Billy, and he's got a very good, nice movement and good punch range. I just think Canelo is just the master of just buying his time and waiting, and then puts him to sleep. Yeah, so yeah, he's a different pedigree. I think I think it would be a different fight as well if he fought Mayweather now. I know obviously he might find a different. I think Mayweather maybe still win still, but I think it'll be a lot different fight. Yeah.
Okay then, mate. It's been really good to talk to you this evening.
Thank you.
Talk about your career and hopefully just get your name out there a bit more, just so people can respect what you've done. You've shared the ring with some massive names. You've upset a few people along the way.
Yes.
And you obviously got some great stories. I'm sure you got some more stories you could tell us.
Yeah.
And have you got any people you want to give a shout out to? Any people you want to thank?
Oh yeah, obviously I'm big thankful for Gareth and Nick for everything they've done, and all the boys in the gym, Phil, Sean. They know all the boys in the gym who've, you know, held the pads for me, and you know, the sparring and stuff, and Nick especially for traveling all the distance and stuff. Like obviously I don't see him as much now, but obviously he played a big figure like in my life, you know, of doing a lot for me. So I'm very grateful for that. And I got to visit a lot of the UK traveling around. So yeah, so grateful for that as well. Yeah, and obviously a shout out to Liam as well, and hopefully brings the bacon back to Wales, you know, and puts us on the road, Max. So hopefully we can hold some title fights under his name in Wales, and you know, remember the Joe Kawasaki days, holding venues. It all comes together then, sort of thing. When you've got with a name who can hold a title, can have some good shows in Wales.
And last question for you, mate, before we go. Will we ever see you in a boxing ring again?
Oh, maybe with charity.
maybe an exhibition fight.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Who would you like an exhibition fight against? Is there any particular fighters?
Oh, I don't know. It'd probably be a town joke fight, or just, you know, one of them, just raise a bit of money for something, or I don't know. Unless I could click my fingers and I could wake up at 11 stone 10 tomorrow, but it's a painful ride back. It's a painful ride down to the way that I am now. So probably give it a miss. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's good.
Okay, Jamie. Thanks for your time, mate.
That's okay. And
no, it's brilliant. I really enjoyed speaking to you, listening to your stories.
Yeah. Thank you for your time, and yeah, it's a privilege.
And hopefully I'll see you some point in the future on a boxing show somewhere.
Yeah, well,
I'll buy you a pint.
Yeah, okay. Thank you again. Yeah, thank you.
Sure, Jamie. Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Hello, Selby Pontypridd. Can I take your order, please?